The Crochet Star Stitch is a pretty decorative crochet stitch that is made using a 2-row repeat and a starting chain of any odd number. It's a perfect stitch to use on its own, as I've got on this swatch here, or you can use it as an accent to any project. It's great for blankets, sweaters, dishcloths, pretty much anything out there. So let's go ahead and get started. I've already started with a starting chain of an odd number. I've made a chain of 21 for this video. And for our first row, we are going to start working in the second chain from the hook, and we're just going to half double crochet all the way across. Okay, now that we've got our row of half double crochet, we're going to do a turning chain of 3 and then turn our work. This side here is going to be the right side of our project. And we're going to start our repeat now. It gets a little tricky for the first stitch. The first stitch of your row is going to be a little bit different than the rest of them. We're going to go into the second chain from our hook, and we're going to pull up a loop. We're going to go into the third chain from our hook, pull up a loop, and then we're going to do the same in these first 3 stitches. So we should have a total of 6 loops on our hook. We're going to yarn over, we're going to pull all the way through them, and then make a chain stitch to lock it. And if you notice, that creates 2 stitches for us to work into for each of these stitches that we're going to be doing. Now for every other stitch in this row, we're going to work into the eye. We're going to pull up a loop, and then this area right here at the bottom of our stitch, right behind this first loop, we're going to go in there and pull up a loop, and then we're going to work into the last stitch from the previous row that we had worked in our previous stitch into. We're going to go into there and pull up a loop, and we're going to pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches. And we're going to have our 6 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all of them, and then chain. Again, we're going to work into the eye. It's kind of like walking down the stitch. The eye, then we're going to step down and go into this loop. We're going to step down again, go into the last space we worked into, and then the next 2 stitches. Yarn over, pull through, and chain. We're going to keep doing that all the way across. We're going to keep going until we have just 1 stitch left, and then we're going to do a half double crochet in that stitch. Now that I'm at the very last stitch, I'm just going to half double crochet in that last stitch. So this is what your row should look like. It looks like half of the star. So we're going to chain one and turn, and it definitely looks a little different on this side. This is not as pretty as the other side. This space is a little bit big, so we're going to go ahead and do 2 half double crochets into that space there. And then we're going to work a half double crochet into each stitch from the previous row. And now remember, each star has 2 stitches that we can work into, so we have to make sure that you're working into the eye and then the top of the stitch. We're going to start here. You're going to go all the way across. Once we have our half double crochet done, we need to go ahead and start the repeat again. We're going to go back to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. You turn it. You can see where we now have the tops to all of our little star stitches. We go back to the very first row we start in the chain. Go to the second one from the hook. Pull up a loop, next one, pull up a loop, and then we pull up a loop from the first 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And then we keep working our star stitch down the rest of the row. I'm going to continue alternating the bottom half of the star and the half double crochet. Just make sure that when you finish your project, you finish on a half double crochet so that you are finishing the top of that last star stitch. And that's it. It's a pretty easy repeat. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.